Historically, cyclones leave behind them a path of devastation and heartache. The Category 4 severe tropical Cyclone Lam was no exception. Cyclone Lam crossed the Northern Territory coast on Thursday the 19th of February, scoring a direct hit on the remote Indigenous communities of Galawinku, Ramingining and Milingimbi. Early assessments of damages in these communities are estimated to be over the $80 million mark.
We're standing at the front of a house that's experienced damage as a result of Cyclone Lam, which occurred just a few days ago here on Elcho Island. Galawinku is one of the communities in the Northern Territory that has suffered significant damage with 6 houses completely destroyed, 10 with a majority or a large part of those houses destroyed, 50 roofs being torn off, another 40 where there's major and minor damage to those roof structures. It's a community that has suffered much devastation at the hands of climatic conditions with Cyclone Lam. We've been very fortunate that people have been saved in terms of injury and fatality, and we'd like to compliment all those community leaders and resource agencies which assisted in ensuring people's safety.
Through the combined efforts of Adam Giles and the Northern Territory Government, the Australian Defence Force and the Northern Territory Emergency Services led an initiative that evacuated more than 300 residents from out of the path of the cyclone and relocated them to Darwin. Thanks to their efforts, Cyclone Lam left behind 0 fatalities and no major injuries to the people in the communities. A somewhat victorious outcome.
But the 2 cyclone shelters in particular at the school and with Martha Cole Workshop provided a good degree of security for residents at the time of the cyclone when it was hitting, as well as many cyclone-coated houses right across the community. I'd like to particularly thank police for their leadership, emergency services for their leadership, Martha Cole themselves, Me Watch, education staff and all people within the community who provided a terrific response in the preparation of the cyclone coming. We're now in a position where we're moving from emergency to recovery, so the transition of police managing Cyclone Lam and its after effects towards the Department of Chief Minister now overseeing that has taken place today. Jim Rogers, the head of Department of Chief Minister in Nhulunbuy, is now being based here at Galawinku to oversee the recovery efforts in the community.
Tropical cyclones are a way of life in the top end of the Northern Territory, and the importance of education, preparation and warning systems cannot be stressed enough.
The cyclone shelters, albeit not the best conditions to be bunkering down in, but the 2 cyclone shelters in particular at the school and with Martha Cole Workshop provided a good degree of security for residents at the time of the cyclone when it was hitting, as well as many cyclone-coated houses right across the community.
As the cyclone developed and the danger became more and more imminent, National Aboriginal Radio was able to relay information from the Bureau of Meteorology and broadcast directly to the communities within Cyclone Lam's path. Broadcasts of invaluable information that started before the cyclone hit and continued during and well after the cyclone had dissipated.
Which, as you can see around us, is a huge achievement in itself. I'd also like to recognise the community as well, who have listened to our people on the ground here and really done a good job in making sure that we've kept everyone safe. In addition, I've just been advised that we're at about 90% of the Warrawee community has been repatriated back to Goulburn Island, and that evacuation centre will be closed later on this afternoon. But again, our volunteers, we have extra resources coming in from Darwin, and really appreciate all the work that's being done here.
For the communities of Galawinku, Ramingining and Milingimbi, now comes the slow and steady rebuilding process.
Particularly I'd like to thank the emergency services staff who are out here today on the chainsaws that we can hear in the background, chopping up the trees, clearing the roads and making the place safer. The power and water staff who are here at the moment reconnecting electricity and sewer. We know it's a very hard job to do. There's a lot of work to be done, but that work is being undertaken quite well. We've particularly got a lot of re-establishment of the high voltage electrical works have been undertaken. The low voltage work is still continuing, and whilst nearly all power is up and running, getting that power connected to houses is a challenge, and that's the next stage of the work, and we believe that work will be fully completed within a week, but Power and Water staff are out here working tirelessly now, and once again thank you to those staff who are doing that. I can say that the sewerage system is almost 100% up and running, but we have to do a lot of work in individual houses, because while the system itself within the community is working, individual houses do remain blocked because of times of power outage with those sewer systems themselves. So individual houses will have to be gone through one by one to get rectification works undertaken there.
Well, we're standing here in a community, a resilient community with an amazing community spirit. And this is an example of a community that had a plan, that listened to authorities in the lead up to the event, and that as a result survived that event. So at the moment we've got members of the Northern Territory Emergency Service, volunteers assisting with the removal of fall trees. We've actually got another crew coming in tomorrow from Darwin, and if need be we'll call on some additional resources from Alice Springs. But there's no doubt the one thing that I take away from this is the community spirit is absolutely amazing. To see a community that's so resilient and that survives such an event by listening to local authorities, enacting their plans and sticking together is actually quite humbling.
Many residents are yet to return home to see just how much damage has been done.
Well, obviously environment is one of them. It's extremely hot out here, and what we're asking our volunteers to do is to put in long days on the end of heavy machinery in order to make this community safe. So looking after the welfare of our volunteers is paramount too. Of course, there's also the remote aspect to it. We're not just deploying 10 minutes away to a suburb. We actually have to move large amounts of people out to these remote communities to undertake those tasks.
While Category 4 Tropical Cyclone Lam left behind a sizable damage bill, it could not break the spirits or the resilience of the people of the top end of the Northern Territory.
We're having our first cyclone in the outside. Yeah. Hit at Gulliver. No, just the strong wind we have after from state. Yes, the strong wind.
No major injuries because everybody was on time before that cyclone became the Category 3 or 4.
One thing that's thoroughly impressed me in this short visit today has been the level of emotional uplift by people within the community. I was expecting people to be much more devastated, but people are in very good spirits. Kids are in good spirits. The old people have been protected, so that's a very good thing to see.
Andrew Walker, Aboriginal Broadcasting Australia.